Hey, what do you think you're doing back there? Pay attention to where you're walking, idiot. You damaged my bike. Someone is gonna have to pay for that, and I say it's gonna be you.
My apologies for bumping into you earlier. But I'm pretty sure you're the one at fault here. You were the one not paying attention to where you were going. Your eyes were completely on your phone, and you were listening to music while you were at that.
Very bold of you to think that you have a say here. Who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? I'm a student of the super-renowned Wyatt University.
And so, I understand that Wyatt University is well known for its outstanding education curriculum, but I don't see how that has anything to do with what just happened.
Fine, let me set things out for you. On one hand, there's you, someone who just by living and breathing in air is a waste of precious clean oxygen. On the other hand, there's me, someone who is almost certain to change society for the better in the future, perhaps by running a successful business or maybe taking part in some future technological advancements. I think it's pretty obvious who has more value in society overall. Am I right? 'Cause it's me.
I don't understand your point. I mean, even if you were right about how you may prove more useful to society, that still doesn't have anything to do with the accident.
Oh wow, you really don't get it, do you? Let's put this plain and simple so even a doofus like you can understand then. If I reported you to the cops, you're gonna get arrested. You hear me? The cops are definitely gonna side with me on this one. After all, I have a good background.
So that's what you were trying to imply. You should have just cut to the chase. Are you job hunting right now? I hope you don't talk like that during your interviews. Let me give you a piece of advice. You should learn to set up your argument more clearly. Starting with your conclusion first could help you a lot. Using examples are okay, but if you don't make it clear about what the example is supposed to prove, it could become confusing, even a waste of time.
Hey, don't try blame me for your stupidity. Anyone could have caught up on what I was trying to say if they weren't so slow. This is why I hate speaking to idiots. It's so darn inefficient. You guys just don't have the brain capacity to hold a proper conversation.
I was wondering why you forced me to hand over my contact information. Is it so that you could bother me like this and demand money? If my assumption is correct, and if you value efficiency, then I advise we both forget this conversation ever took place. It'll be better for the both of us.
I'm still a student, you know? That means I still work part-time. I don't have that much cash on me. Well, I guess that the same can be said for you. You don't seem that bright. You have the face of some dumb old granny. I bet you work part-time at some fast food restaurant or something. Minimum wage, too.
I see. You find amusement in making assumptions about other people and belittling them based on that pure assumption? Honestly, I understand that not all young people are like you, but seeing that someone like you is going to be the future of our country makes me anxious.
Yo, don't worry, I'm much better than a talking garbage bin like you. For one thing, I already have my future planned out. It's decided that I'm going to start working at a reputable company once I graduate university.
Calling someone you've just met a talking garbage can is definitely not a good sign. But I worry that the company courageous enough to hire someone like you is also a problem. I wonder, what did they even see in you? Are you a completely different person during job interviews?
Nah, I didn't go through any job interviews. Maybe you don't see it, but my awesome background in education isn't the only thing great about me. I also have ties with the CEO of a pretty cool company, which means it's only natural that I'll be hired to work for them once I graduate. Basically, I can skip all the boring job hunting stuff. Life is just so easy.
You think they'll hire you just because you have ties with them? If it's still undecided, I would start getting ready to look for a job. I suppose they could hire you, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I've seen a lot of people regret not preparing themselves enough, no matter how confident they were.
Hold up, is that what you went through? Did you not prepare yourself enough back when you were a student? Man, do I feel sorry for you. It must suck not being as good as you thought you were. But for real, I've never heard of anything like that before you mentioned it. It's probably something that happens to people who are really screwed up, like you, probably.
No, I didn't go through this experience myself, but I have seen people who have multiple times.
No need to act tough. I bet you were super arrogant, like you were blind as to how incapable you were. And your bubble finally burst when you couldn't get a single job during your job hunts. Am I right? Man, you must have been really miserable. Seriously though, I'm not the same as you. I'm actually smart, charming, and a freaking genius. I'll be fine without any of your advice. Thanks.
If you think so.
Anyways, back to the accident we were talking about. About $7,000 should be enough for the damage you caused today. I think I also hurt my leg when you bumped into me, so pay up, will you? Because if you don't, I'm gonna find out where you live and I'm gonna collect the money myself.
I'm pretty sure if you actually did that, it would count as a criminal offense. If you're willing to go as far as to actually show up on my doorstep and demand any sort of payment, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call the police.
Oh man, you don't even have $7,000 in your bank account? First, you harm a poor kid with a bright future like me, and now you're saying you don't have enough money to make up for what you did? You should be embarrassed of yourself, old woman. Come on, I know you're not a millionaire, but how poor can you be? Are you a homeless or something? Do you even have a job?
I think you're starting to go a bit too far. I don't have time to be bothered by someone like you. If you're going to graduate soon, you should probably start looking for a job so that you don't run into trouble even when your expectations aren't met. First thing to start off with would be working on your manners. You should learn to not harass someone you've just met.
Were you not listening, old hag? I told you I don't have to look for a job. It's decided already. I'm different to you. I don't have to go through all that tedious job hunting business. Or did you just forget? That's what happens when you get old, right? That, or you just don't have enough brain cells to actually remember anything.
You can say what you want. I hope you have a good day.
You're in that time of year again when companies start hiring new employees, right? Are you busy? Do you still do that thing where you pretend to be just another plain job interviewer?
Hi, Millie. Of course I still do it. It's actually pretty amusing. And yes, we are busy just like every other year. But it's all part of the job, and so far, everything seems to be going quite well. How about you? Anything new? Have any of your students caused trouble this year?
Nope, I don't think there's been any huge problems this year. At least not yet. Oh, that didn't come out right. It sounds as if my students causing problems is a normal thing.
Wait, it's not a normal thing?
Oh, Lucy, what's that supposed to mean?
I'm sorry. But it kind of is, isn't it? A part of me enjoys hearing about all the stories you have to tell me after you finish dealing with them. I know it's no laughing matter for you, but from an outsider's perspective, it's amusing. Of course, in an ideal world, everything would go smoothly with no problems whatsoever. But what actually happens is that every single year you have at least one student doing something out of the ordinary. It's always a surprise. But I suppose that must be what it is to be young. They're full of energy and sometimes a bit naive.
I can't argue with that. That must be what makes them so outspoken and full of hope.
I still remember about your students last year. One of them couldn't believe that they didn't get the job. They went straight to the company's office building to have a talk with the interviewer, just so they could hear the reasons behind why they weren't hired. What happened to that student anyways?
Believe me, it was not good. They busted into the building during office hours. The company was not happy, to say the least. They said that it was unbelievable behavior, which is true. But because of that, the company thinks that all the other students in their school might be no better. They're not so keen on hiring any of our students anymore. I see their point, but it's just not fair to the other students. I just hope that by telling this story to my future students, we can prevent a similar incident from happening at any other company.
I see. That must have been tough. Hopefully this year's students are all well behaved. Hey, that reminds me. I've just had a little incident with one of your students.
What? Oh no, I really don't want to hear it, but what happened?
They were riding a bike and they crashed into me on the street. I think they weren't looking at where they were going. That alone would have been forgivable, but they forced me to give them my contact info and pay up for the damage I supposedly caused to the bicycle.
Oh no. And I'm guessing they didn't even bother to apologize? All right, Lucy, give me their name.
It's all right, Millie. Luckily, I wasn't hurt in the accident, and it's not like the kid did anything beyond slightly annoying me. For now, I think I'll give them a chance and keep their identity a secret. But if they start bothering me again, I'll make sure to report their little misbehaviors to you.
Are you sure? If you say so. Your company hires a lot of our students every year. We really appreciate it, you know? We definitely wouldn't want to cause you any trouble. It'd be like repaying your kindness with malice. If something happens, you have to tell me, all right?
Don't worry. In fact, we should be the ones appreciating you for educating your students so well. It's not like we're hiring your students just because you teach them. They're all very intelligent, and it makes us want to hire them. So thank you for allowing us to take in so much of your great students.
Oh, you're being too generous, but I'm glad you think that. Being the principal, there's always so many things to worry about when it comes to my students. But it always brings a smile to my face when people talk kindly of them. They may be troublesome at times, but at the end of the day, they're all very great kids. Do you think I'm being too proud when it comes to my students?
I don't know, but if I were you, I would be proud too.
Thank goodness. Oh, look at the time. I suppose I shouldn't bother you too much. Let's go get some coffee once everything settles down.
Of course, I'll be looking forward to it.
Well, well, well. Who would have thought that we'd meet again, huh? I guess I stand corrected. You do have a full-time job. Not that you're anything great either way, but that must be something impressive from your perspective. Oh, and you have to forgive me for splashing my coffee onto you. It still pains me to think about what you did to me a few days ago. Think of it as justice served.
I was surprised to see you at the interview as well. Did you not notice how shocked the other interviewers were when you covered me in coffee? I applaud you for taking a step and actually starting to apply for a job, but I'm afraid with an attitude like that, you wouldn't be able to get one.
Nah, don't worry about it. I don't need to kiss up to you to get a job here. Remember how I said I have ties with the CEO? This is the place I was talking about. Which leads me to wonder, did we really need to do that interview? I mean, come on. We already know I'm gonna get hired. Why bother?
Of course we need to. It's necessary in order to decide if we're gonna actually hire someone or not. Besides, it's the best way for us to see what kind of person an applicant may be in person. Take yourself as an example. Because we held that interview, we were able to see how you treat others when you don't like them.
And why are you talking to me like that? Like I said countless times before, I have a connection with the CEO. You might want to be careful about how you speak to me, because I could get them to fire you.
That's impossible. I'm the CEO. And I have never heard a thing about you before in my life. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else, or were you lying?
What? Yeah, right, like I'll be fooled by that. I saw you at the interview. A CEO wouldn't be there. You're just another expendable employee like the rest of the bunch. Don't try to lie to me.
I was at the interview because I was pretending to be like any other employee. I'm glad you were fooled. It gives me hope that the other applicants also haven't noticed who I really was.
No. Like, you can't be the CEO. I mean, why would the CEO be pretending to be a normal employee?
Isn't it obvious? If the applicants knew that the CEO was in front of them, it would make them nervous. It might be a little too much pressure for them, especially since job interviews on their own are already stressful enough. Besides, it's nice to see the applicants myself. I don't want to take my employees' jobs, but I do enjoy choosing who to hire next.
What the hell? What kind of a reason is that? No, I'm not buying it. There's absolutely no way that you're the CEO.
You don't have to believe me. Either way, we're not hiring you. I think it's a fairly obvious decision, seeing how you've been acting these past few days. If you want to get a job, I suppose you better start bettering yourself and start working for it.
Hold on, you can't be serious. I'm a student at Wyatt University. You have to hire me.
I know you're a student at Wyatt, but I don't see why that means that I have to hire someone like you. You show no potential. Your personality is a wreck. You don't even have a connection with me, though. I wouldn't hire you even if you did.
The principal is close friends with the CEO, right? Isn't that why so many students from White University get hired? It's a rumor at our school. If we apply for a job here, it's almost decided that we'll get hired.
Oh, is that what the students think? Is it true that your principal and I are close friends? I would even say that we're best friends. But that doesn't mean I'll just hire every student from our school. I've treated every student equally. Every applicant has the same chance of getting hired as the rest of them.
That's impossible. Then why are there so many people from our place in your company? Are you trying to say that it's just a coincidence?
I'm not trying to say it is. It's the truth. Students from Wyatt University just happen to fit the type of people we're looking for. They're not just smart, but passionate and willing to take risks. They're all very appealing. And it's not just a facade. Everyone who we hire is doing great at their job. I'm very proud to be able to hire people like them.
Well, duh. White University is one of the best universities in the state. So shouldn't you be hiring me too? I'm also a student there.
Definitely not. There is definitely no way we'd hire someone like you. You crash into me on the streets with a bike, but instead of apologizing, you try to charge me for getting your bike scarred. Then you cover me in coffee during your job interview. For every interview, we would give out drinks to help ease the stress the applicants must be feeling. But I suppose what you needed was a source of stress so that you wouldn't act so arrogantly. Frankly speaking, we don't want someone like you working at our company.
Why? It just doesn't make any sense. We're supposed to get hired no matter what, as long as it's your company. It's not just a rumor, the data backs it up. You can't just do this to me. I have a future. You don't want to mess up a future of a young student, do you?
I could care less. That's your problem and not mine. What you believe to be the truth is nothing more than a mere rumor. I hope your existence proves that to the other students who may foolishly believe in it as well. Besides, getting hired at this company should be the least of your worries. I went easy on you last time, but I won't make the same mistake again. I'm going to report you to the police.
Wait a second, you can't report me. What if I get a criminal record? It was just a little coffee, lady. If you don't hire me, I need to start job hunting. They aren't going to hire me if they knew that I got charged with a criminal offense.
Why should I care? In fact, that may be better for the society in general. If people didn't know what you were actually like, it may lead to more people getting harmed by you. If anything, now's the chance to finally stop you from getting out of control.
No, come on, that's going way too far. Hear me out. I'm already in hot water since I'm not getting hired by your company. I haven't applied for any other place. It's not that I was lazy, I was just being efficient. I thought there was no need to go through all that trouble if I was gonna get a job here anyways. See? I'm a smart kid.
You only have yourself to blame. You need to start noticing your flaws, or else I'm afraid no one will hire you even without a criminal record.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Come on, you have to hire me. I swear, I won't do anything to you anymore. I'll try be better, please.
Unlike you, I have an actual close tie with your university's principal. All of your actions will be reported to her. Worst case scenario, you may be expelled, but I'm afraid you wouldn't have gone through all this if you were slightly more charitable. I hope this serves as a lesson for you. Although Lucy didn't mention it, the hot coffee that she was covered in burnt her quite severely. She was safely treated so it won't leave a permanent mark, but the police were contacted nonetheless. While Connor had to deal with the police and medical costs, and Lucy warned her business partners about his misdeeds. With that and his criminal record, Connor was never able to find a place that was willing to hire him. At the same time, Millie heard everything from Lucy, and as expected, expelled Connor from the university. So now Connor had no college degree, no job, and had to deal with his criminal record.
Simon, is now a good time? There's something I need to talk to you about.
Hey, what's up? If you think it's something I can help with, then I'm happy to talk.
It's about Oliver.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. I'm not really supposed to discuss school matters privately. I know we might be childhood friends, but I could get in trouble if people knew we were discussing that kind of thing outside of the official channels. Who's to say how the other moms might react?
I understand. I'm really sorry about this, and I hate to trouble you. But before I call the school, I thought it might be best to talk to you first, since you are his teacher and all. I know it's not normally how things are done, but please, can you make an exception just this once?
Okay, Kate, but I mean it. I really can only do this once. So what's up?
So here's the thing. Oliver recently started saying he doesn't want to go to school anymore. I've asked him so many times, but he won't tell me why.
Huh? By any chance, is that why he's been absent the last 2 days? I'm sorry. I heard you call in reporting it as an illness. Oh, I just thought he was a little under the weather.
Look, there's no kid that age who doesn't feel like taking the day off every now and then, right? So, to be totally honest with you, I did let him have 1 day off. But then he said he didn't want to go today either, and now he's refusing to go tomorrow too. He won't listen to anything I say. I asked him if he's having some kind of problem at school, but he won't tell me anything at all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. I really thought I had a good idea of the situation in class. But based on what you told me, it sounds like there might be something going on that I don't know about.
I see. Would you mind keeping a closer eye on him for the time being? I'm so sorry to trouble you like this.
It's fine, don't sweat it. Here's what I'll do. I'll speak to some of Oliver's friends about this and see if I can find out what's going on. Don't worry, we'll get to the bottom of this. I'll contact you as soon as I know anything. Don't let this get you down, okay? Let's just see how things play out and take it from there. If you pry too much when he already feels down, I think there's a chance it might make him hate school even more. And then he'll never end up coming back.
You're right. Got it. Thank you. Oh, by the way, if it seems like this is gonna drag on any longer, I'll go through the proper channels and contact the school next time. I assume they'll speak to you about it in that case, so I can only apologize in advance for any inconvenience. But you're right. For the time being, let's just see what we can find out. Thanks, Simon.
Kate, I haven't heard from you in a while. Is everything okay? If so, look, we've already crossed the Rubicon, so we might as well at least get to the bottom of what's going on with Oliver. Don't worry, okay? I want Oliver back in class more than anyone. Which is why I want you to know you can talk to me if you're still having problems. I want to help you.
Oh, sorry. I've been so busy I forgot to reply.
Huh? What the hell are you playing at? Your kid's skipping school and you're too busy to reply to me? I didn't know you were that kind of person.
That's funny. I was just about to say the same thing about you. Because I had no idea you'd do something like this.
Wait a second. Why are you getting mad at me all of a sudden? What did I do?
You told me the other day about why Oliver didn't want to go to school anymore, didn't you?
Because he fell out with his friends and felt isolated?
Yeah, well, I mean, this kind of thing happens all the time. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. But you know, his friends said they feel bad and want to apologize. Everyone's waiting for him to come back. They even said they were going to go over to your house and try encouraging him to come back.
Yes, and they did, very kindly. But that's not the truth, is it? Because you're the one who turned him into a social pariah in class, aren't you?
Me? I'm his teacher! What the hell are you saying? You really think I'd do that to one of my own students?
Listen to me. All I'm doing is telling the truth.
The truth? Give me a break. You can't seriously be claiming... Do you think there are still teachers around who do that kind of thing? Even elementary school kids have smartphones at this day and age. Our conduct has to be flawless at all times. One wrong move, and suddenly the whole world would be talking about it on social media. Can you just calm down and think about what you're saying?
You're right. It really would be unbelievable if there was a teacher acting like that in this day and age. But believe me, I am calm. I am messaging you from a place of calmness.
No way. How could you say that? We're childhood friends, damn it! Kate, what reason could I possibly have for wanting to turn your son into the class loner?
Oh, I can think of a reason. Because you wanted to take revenge on me for turning down your marriage proposal. Because I married the guy you hated instead.
Wow, that? Seriously? Listen to me carefully. I couldn't give 1/10 of a heck about what happened back then. It was over 10 years ago. It's all water under the bridge to me now. Do you really think I still have feelings for you after all this time? I'm over you.
I didn't think so before all this, at least. That's why I gave you my phone number when I moved back to our hometown. But it would appear I made a huge mistake.
How about you calm down and stop blathering yourself? You're a worn-out old hag with a kid, for God's sakes. Who would want anything to do with you? Stop fantasizing. And what the hell does me falling out with your husband have to do with anything? Stop coming up with weird excuses to justify your lunatic behavior and start taking your meds. You're creeping me out.
Your dad's a good-for-nothing high school dropout. Your genes are worth less than dirt, and you'll never amount to anything, you miserable little worm. If you dare tell your mom about anything I say to you, you're both gonna need to start looking over your shoulders. Did I miss anything? That's what you said to Oliver in class, isn't it? Not only that, but you banned all of his classmates from speaking to him. What do you think you're doing? Are you seriously trying to take revenge on me through my son? Is this really what kind of person you are?
Wow. Just wow. I'm speechless. This is beyond ridiculous. This is just some pile of baloney you heard from Oliver. Kids are masterful liars. It comes as naturally to them as breathing. Surely you as a mother would know that. Could you please not try and turn me into some kind of monster without having a shred of evidence to back it up? You're tapped in the head. You seemed a lot wiser and more reasonable back when we were kids. It's kind of disappointing seeing how you turned out.
It is exactly because I'm a mother that I know he's telling the truth. If I didn't believe my own son, what would that make me? Do you have any idea how much it hurt him to be told such horrible things? By his own school teacher? You call yourself a teacher.
God, what is it with that question? It's like some kind of freaking slogan for angry moms. I'm sick of hearing it already. Yes, actually, I do call myself a teacher. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Make sure you remember it. Being a teacher means I spend more time with the kids throughout the year than their own parents, which is why I need you to start treating what I say with a little bit more credibility. I mean, really, you're gonna believe the word of some lying kid over a highly respected adult? Come on, which is it gonna be? Who do you believe?
I believe my son!
I see. Okay, Mommy, let me ask you a question. Where's the proof? Hold on, let's see it. If you're gonna accuse me of saying all this stuff to Oliver, then you must have proof.
I have no way of proving what you said to Oliver.
Okay, then this conversation is over. If you refuse to cease and desist, I'll report you to the school for harassment.
This conversation is not over. I might not be able to prove that you said anything to Oliver, but I can prove that you banned everyone else in the class from speaking to him.
I gotta be honest, you're really bugging me now. I have no idea what kind of proof you think you have. But if you want to report me to the school, then go right ahead. Do whatever you like.
Okay, I will. That's exactly what I'll do.
This is the perfect opportunity to tell you. So get this. Even if, for argument's sake, I did do something, you should know that I have friends in high places who will be there to protect me if I need it.
Friends in high places? A teacher? Who would protect you?
My uncle. He's on the Board of Education. And if anything happens to me, he'll have my back. To put it bluntly.
So that's why you think you got free reign to do whatever you want, huh? Suddenly, everything makes sense. If that's how you want to play this, I have a little something of my own to tell you.
Huh?
It really is a coincidence about my father-in-law, don't you think?
Your father-in-law?
My husband's dad is the superintendent of the Board of Education. It would be extremely foolish of you to believe you're invincible just because your uncle happens to be a board member.
Really? By the way, about that proof.
Hmm?
You just said you had proof?
Oh, what's this? You seem to have changed your tune. Didn't you just tell me to do what I wanted?
Quit harping on and show me the proof already! You need to understand that you don't have a hope in hell of taking me down based on the word of a few brats alone. If that's all you have. It's more than possible they could cook up some story together to try to get me fired. That kind of thing does happen, you know.
The proof is the recording of you threatening your students. Remember? You said it yourself, after all, about how even elementary school kids have smartphones in this day and age.
Recording? Cell phones are forbidden in class! They're to be kept in lockers and used only at break time! I don't believe you! All students know they'll be severely reprimanded if they're caught with their phones in class. We have a very strong system of deterrence in place.
Duh, I know that. Who doesn't? Do you seriously not know that kids hide them in their pockets and sneak them into class despite having been a teacher all these years? Besides, since when did the threat of the teacher getting angry ever stop kids from breaking the rules? Most importantly, he did it to help out a friend in need.
Who was it? Who recorded me? I want a name now!
Like hell I'm telling you anything!
Shut up and give me a name! Now!
Even if you knew their name, it wouldn't protect you from what's coming. Have you even thought this through? The teacher who bullies and intimidates his own students versus the students who break the rules to protect their friend? How do you think this ends? You don't need to be a genius to figure it out. In any case, even if you don't understand, you will soon. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have nothing more to say to you. Never contact me again.
You're not going anywhere! Don't try to run away from me! I said I wanted a name! Who recorded me? You will pay for this insolence! You all will! Kate, I think I owe you an apology over what happened with Oliver. I'm truly sorry. The way things are going, it's looking like I might not be a teacher for much longer. I abused my position due to personal grievance, which is absolutely unacceptable and should never have happened. I've reflected on what I did, and I'm truly sorry. So please, will you find it in your heart to forgive me for what I did to Oliver? And Oliver himself? If he forgives me, I might still be in with a shot of salvaging things at work. Please, will you give me a chance to apologize to him in person?
I told you never to contact me again, didn't I? I'll be letting the school know you contacted me directly and not through your lawyer like you were supposed to. I will never forgive you for bullying, victimizing, intimidating, and threatening my son. A person like you should never have been allowed to become a teacher in the first place. I'll make sure you never get a chance to see Oliver again.
Please. I did this for a reason. I really did love you, Kate. Which is why I was so shocked and hurt when I found out you were marrying that high school dropout. I always thought I'd be the one to marry you. I could have made you so much happier. But then when I got down on one knee and you turned me down, my world fell apart.
Yes, Simon. I know.
You do? You finally understand? In that case, maybe you and me could finally give it a shot. I've been waiting all my life for this moment. Will you be mine, Kate?
No. I mean, I know what a despicable, hopeless waste of space you are. Did you really think I was going to say yes to your proposal? We never even dated. Never contact me again. You disgust me.
What? You got some nerve. This was all your fault to begin with.
What?
If you weren't in my life to begin with, none of this would have ever happened. I would have never developed feelings for you. I never would have proposed to you. And now this. I wouldn't be in this mess either. If you didn't exist, your son wouldn't have just happened to be a student at the school I teach at. I mean, I'm his form teacher? Is this some big cosmic joke? It was bad enough that you rejected me without having to see your husband's offspring set staring at me every day. It couldn't be more humiliating. Why can't you understand how I feel?
So you're saying this is all my fault? Good. Your absolute lack of remorse only strengthens my resolve to do what I have to do. Mark my words, you will be dealt with. There is no place for someone so deranged and bitter that they drag their personal affairs into their professional life to the extent of damaging their own students' mental health. If you're so desperate for someone to pull you out of the hole you dug, they're gonna need the mother of all shovels, and you're wasting your time with me. Oh, I know. Your uncle's on the Board of Education, isn't he? Try asking him. Oliver became incredibly emotionally unstable after Simon said all that awful stuff to him. One of his classmates noticed that his mood seemed to drop every time the teacher went over to speak to him. He was so concerned that his mom called me after school to discuss the situation. She said she thought there was a possibility that Mr. Pierce, aka Simon, was harassing him. What's more, apparently my son wasn't the only student he'd threatened. Oliver's friends, too, were told that if they told their parents about how they weren't allowed to speak to him, he'd ban everyone from speaking to them, too. After finding out the truth, me and the other moms all joined forces. They were all so kind, and each tasked their children with paying close attention to the dynamics between Simon and Oliver in class, and report back to us with anything they noticed. Everyone soon became aware that something unpleasant was happening, but even still we found it difficult to take definite action for lack of concrete evidence. Which is why I was relieved to hear one of Oliver's friends was clever enough to record Simon threatening him. Even though they knew if they were found out, they'd end up in the same situation or worse. I was moved to tears by the level of kindness and bravery doing something like that must have taken. Oliver told me everything when I gave him the news that we'd been collecting evidence and were ready to present it to the school. I've never seen him look so relieved in my life. Then, we finally made our official report to the school and Board of Education. Simon's teaching license was revoked, and he was fired on the spot. By the way, you know how he said his uncle was a board member? It was actually true. But ironically, far from making everything disappear, as he'd naively expected, he was actually angrier than anyone and vehemently demanded he receive the most severe penalty. It just goes to show, you can't expect someone to have your back when you're in the wrong just because you happen to be related to them. That man is so deluded it's disturbing. With his former bully gone and things at school having calmed down, Oliver made his long-awaited comeback. He graduated with flying colors just this year. I can't deny I was a little anxious at the time about Simon trying to get his own back against my son somehow. I thought about moving house, changing schools, and all sorts of other potential solutions. But ultimately, Oliver was dead set on graduating alongside all of his friends, and I wanted to respect that. I did start dropping him off and picking him up from school by car every day just to be safe. But even still, I'm so happy he was able to graduate at the school he was used to with the friends he loved. I was showered with thanks by the teachers at the school, as well as members of a local crime prevention organization. The other day, Oliver came up to me and said, "Mom, 2 juices and 2 ice creams, please." After which, a beautiful young lady walked in. Oliver got a girlfriend! I found myself moved to tears yet again, this time while preparing juice and ice creams. I'd prefer if you guys didn't mention what a crybaby I am to anyone, though.